This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening, all. I'm Shasheena Rolle. As always, it is so great to have you with us. Topping news, a local government agency sending out a warning to the business community on Grand Bahama as it prepares to enforce the laws concerning consumer protection. Joan Davis-Roll has our top story.
Business houses on Grand Bahama, beware. The government, through its Consumer Affairs Unit, will be cracking down on business houses and are putting them on notice that officials from these agencies will be carrying out its mandate and are on the move. Senior Consumer Officer Reno Smith.
I'd like to put all business houses on notice. Prosecutions will begin in short order. For far too long, we've heard the cries of the consumers. We've now been empowered recently by our minister, the Honorable D. Shane Gibson. All of our staff has now been confirmed. They were all given proper IDs and instruments to enter any and all business houses.
Smith stated that there are some businesses which appear to be conducting a practice which, according to law, is illegal, and consumer officials are going after them.
I went into a particular establishment just last week to purchase an item, and we noticed that there were two prices on the items. One is bonded, the other is duty paid. This particular business house had a 50% sale on selected items. We've asked one of the salespersons to identify the sales item. I then went to the cash register with one of the selected sale items, marked 50% off, only to be told that I have to pay duty upon the duty paid price. That is illegal, and we're encouraging business houses to cease and desist. The prices were clearly marked: bonded, duty paid. The duty paid price already had the duty attached to it. How can you offer something for 50% sale and then add an additional duty on the duty paid item? That is illegal. We will be speaking with customs to assist us with this, but prosecutions will begin shortly.
At a time when the cost of living is escalating but salaries are not, Smith is warning business owners against overpricing and price gouging.
We're also asking business houses, especially the food stores, in addition to the price control items, the breadbasket items, there are extended list items where the government charges no duty. The government did that with the intentions of the business houses passing on those savings to the consumers. That's not being done. I can purchase a case of Welch's 100% juice, which is duty-free, by the way, for $7 at BJ's in Florida. It's being sold for $21, 3 times the value, and in another case, $25 per case. This is ridiculous.
Joan Davis-Roll, ZNS Network News.
In other news, the Bahamas government is continuing the process to liberalize its goods and services by becoming a member of the World Trade Organization. Tonight, a local attorney is sharing what that means for the country and Bahamianization. According to attorney at law Kerry Leonard, the Bahamas is the only country in the Western Hemisphere that has yet to become a member of the World Trade Organization. However, he adds that the Bahamas has applied and is now an observer in the process of negotiations.
Minister Ryan has been extremely active in trying to make sure that the Bahamas gets on board and gets ready for all these various treaties that we're getting involved in. We're playing catch up. And there's going to be a tremendous amount of legislation that is going to be treaty-driven over the next, probably, well, between now and the next 5 to 7 years.
According to reports, the Minister for Financial Services, Ryan Pinder, recently described the Bahamas' first World Trade Organization offer as ludicrous, noting that it effectively closed the country's two largest industries, tourism and financial services, to foreign ownership, an offer he says was made under the former administration. But with the opening up of the markets, Kerry says the idea of Bahamianization will have to fall away. He explains.
You are not supposed to discriminate on the grounds of nationality. And ways in which you do that is, for example, limiting the amount of foreign capital allowed in certain businesses and whether a foreigner can own a type of business. And so all of that is going to be looked at and examined by the World Trade Organization. If we become a member of the World Trade Organization and don't comply, then the other countries are entitled to take out sanctions against us.
He adds that businesses will also have to become more competitive, but shares how becoming a member of the WTO will also give the country a greater advantage.
In this day and age of the internet, it really is going to allow us to access markets and give us the right to access those markets that we wouldn't have had if we stayed out of the WTO. So there's that advantage. Also, it allows us to be able to defend ourselves. In 2000, when the OECD countries, you'll remember they forced us to change our financial laws. And you'll be aware of the fact that Barbados now has the head offices to all the various banks. And the reason is that they were members of WTO, and they were able to say, well, hang on a second, if you want us to do that, you have to do it.
Now, attorney Carrie Leonard says it is unclear how long it will take for the Bahamas to sign on. However, the government plans to submit a revised offer to the WTO by July, with input from all industries being sought by the end of this month. In other news, a Grand Bahama man is now behind bars, accused of stealing from several vehicles in the downtown area. Jonathan Russell of Freeport, Grand Bahama, was charged with 11 counts of stealing from a vehicle. The incident reportedly took place over the past 5 months. Russell was arraigned in the magistrate's court. He was sentenced to 5 years in prison. Meantime, police officials are also investigating a stabbing incident that occurred in Jonestown, 8 Mile Rock, around 12:42 on Friday morning. According to police, an 8 Mile Rock man reported that he was approached by a man while at the fish fry who stabbed him with a knife in the abdomen. The victim was taken to the Ram Memorial Hospital, where he was treated by doctors and detained. His injuries were considered serious. The suspect, a male resident of 8 Mile Rock, was arrested for this stabbing incident. And still with news from police, Abaco police needs your help in locating the driver involved in a hit-and-run accident that occurred in Crown Haven on Friday night. Reports say around 10:30 that night, a man was walking around along SC Boodle Highway in the area of the Church of God of Prophecy, Crown Haven, when he was struck by a passing vehicle which failed to stop. Now, that victim was taken to the hospital, Foxtown Government Clinic, and later airlifted to Princess Margaret Hospital, where he is listed in stable condition. And also from Abaco, police are investigating a shooting incident which has left a man nursing wounds. According to reports, around 12 a.m. on Saturday, a male resident of New Providence visited the Marsh Harbor Government Clinic and reported that while in the Murphytown area, he was approached by 2 men, one of whom produced a firearm and shot him in the right leg. The victim is currently detained in stable condition in the hospital in New Providence. Police are continuing the search for 2 men in connection with this shooting. So if you can help, you can contact police at 911-919 or the nearest police station. Stay with us. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition continues right after this.